This lecture is intended to introduce you to the history and workings of the English legal system, and in particular the common law. The picture that you can see behind me is of law reports. These are the reported decisions of judges made in individual cases that have been brought before the courts, and it's these decisions that constitute the basis of the common law. Now you're going to hear a lot about that later on, but just look at those photos for the moment. This course contains foundational material about the history of critical institutions and processes of the English legal system. This information is going to be useful whether you go on to study law or whether you're just interested for the sake of general knowledge. In this lecture, I'm going to discuss the emergence of the common law in England and Wales. And the idea is for you to understand that the English common law system has developed from very ancient roots. What I want you to do is to get a feel for the history of the system. We're not going to understand it in great detail, but I want you to have a sense of where the common law has come from. So what we're going to do is to look at the roots and the early history of common law development. We're going to look at some of the features of the common law system, and very importantly, what I want to do is to get you familiar with some of the vocabulary of the law. You will see that lawyers use different kinds of words. They have a different vocabulary from ordinary language, and learning the law requires you to become familiar with that vocabulary. As you work through the course, I hope that words that sound strange at the beginning will gradually sound a bit more familiar, so by the end of the course you feel entirely comfortable with those words. As I said, this introduction to the history of common law isn't meant to give you a detailed understanding of the history, which is actually quite complex, but to try and give you a broad overview which will give you a sense of the history of our common law, where it came from, and importantly how it's influenced the development of law in other parts of the world.